Good morning, guys. Welcome to an exciting day working on the car. So I've had these flares laying around for a long time, and I've kind of been dreading this day because we're gonna have to cut into the car. But let me show you something. So if we look down here, I raised the coilovers up the other day, and we're still slammed right on this fender. And if you look at it sideways, we've actually kind of pushed the fender out a little bit. So we, and that's just from driving down the road. So we're gonna cut probably around halfway up this body line, all the way around, and then we're gonna be slapping these flares on. So what I've been working on this morning is just trying to get these to fit as good as possible, just filing down the backs of the little holes. And yeah, so I'll get you guys on the tripod, but just to show you, it's got the little cutout for the STI badge. We're going to be putting new STI badges on when we wrap it so they match. Now, to get an exact perfect fitment all the way around, you need 3M double-sided tape. I have that tape on order. It's not here yet. It'll be here Friday. Today is Saturday, so we got another week. But I'm not in a rush because we're going to be wrapping the car, and I'm not going to permanently put these things on until we get the car wrapped. So that'll probably be next weekend we'll start wrapping, and we'll see if we can get it done in a weekend, which I think if I do like 14, 16-hour days, I think we'll be able to get it done, but we'll find out. But for today, let's get these flares on. I'm going to keep working, trying to get them to fit as best as possible with no tape. And then I think I'm just going to self-tap screw into the fender, get those things where I want them, and then we can mark out where we got to cut. Alright, so I know I don't have that much room in the garage, especially to put the tripod, but I'm going to try my best to take you guys along with me. So, just trying to line this up the best I can, and it's looking pretty good. I think once we get that tape on there, it's going to fit really, really freaking good. So, I think what I'm going to do is just take some self-tappers, we'll get this thing on to the best I can, and we'll draw some lines. There should be. So I know it's hard to tell because we definitely still need spacers on the wheels to get the fitment we're going for. And I might pull some camber out, probably put inch spacer in the back, and we should be good. But as you can see, fitment's honestly not that bad. There's a little gap all the way around that'll get filled by the tape and the vinyl wrap. So honestly, that's a lot better than I thought it was going to be. And we can still always file some down behind the bolt holes to make it even better. But I think that's pretty sick. So the dude I got these from, he did chop off from here down, just so you can still pull the bumper off without having to take the flare off. I'll probably end up putting a quick release bumper mount in here, and yeah, I think it'll flow really well. So I know it looks a little wonky at the moment because one, it doesn't blend in with the car, two, the fitment's off, but trust me, it'll come out good. I promise you guys. I've seen a lot of cars with these. When it's all said and done, it looks really good. And if I didn't have like really bad fitment issues and wide wheels, and want to look like a semi-stance boy, I probably wouldn't put these on. But, you know, like I said, the car has a rebuilt title. I've went over that in videos before, so I'm not really against damaging it a little bit. I'm not even damaging it, it's just making it look better. I'm going to get a Sharpie, we'll draw a line underneath of where we have to cut, and we'll get going.
Turn me up, Kobe.
So she's cut. I think it came out actually pretty good for freehanding that whole thing. The only little slip I had was right there, but obviously it's gonna be under the flare, so we're good there. Now, I didn't want to cut the bumper yet, just in case I don't have to. I think I'm gonna have to once I get the spacers on, and I'll probably just do like something like that right on the corner of the bumper. We're gonna cut off this mount right here, because obviously that's a pretty sharp edge there. You don't want to be blowing tires up off that. And yeah, as far as the inner fender goes, I think I'm probably just gonna cut off, like you can see where I slid it here, just cut that whole part off so you can't really see it from here. And then the rest will just get tucked up because it's still mounted on the inside. I know you guys can't really see, but it is. So yeah, I think right now I'll get this chopped off. We'll cut up the inner fender just a little bit. You don't want to do too much because you don't want debris going up in your engine bay. And then we'll take the polishing wheel, clean this up the best we can, and we'll start drilling the holes for the little rubber rivet things. Alright, so we trimmed the inner fender all the way around. We got the little corner trimmed off here. The bumper still sits on there nice and flush. So like I said, I might have to end up cutting this. Probably will once we put spacers on the wheel, because I'm probably not going to have the room. But right now, we'll probably leave it. That's an easy trim if I have to do that. So right now, I'm going to take this little polishing flat disc. Picked it up at Home Depot. It's like $8, I think. And I'm going to try to just clean it up with this. So, you know, obviously I don't want to run my finger on here right now because I will get metal going through my finger like crazy. So the purpose of this is just to clean it up, make it a nice smooth finish, and then we can go ahead and drill these holes out for the rivets. Nice and clean. This is just kind of paint peeling up, but it's okay. We're gonna end up putting sealant. We're gonna fill this whole line with sealant so we can't spread any rust or anything. And yeah, so actually probably gonna do that. No, I'll wait because I don't know how much more we're gonna have to cut. So right now, probably just start drilling the holes a little bit bigger. I'll show you what I'm gonna use. So instead of just your like traditional rivet, I'm going to be using these. Essentially you'll drill the hole about that big around. You're going to stick that into the hole, and then you'll put your bolt and washer through the flare. It'll thread into the back of that, and this kind of squeezes up and bunches up in the back, and it tightens up against the back of the fender so it won't pull out. So now we need to find a drill bit about that big around. Maybe a little bit smaller, and we'll wedge that right into the hole and thread into it. And that's how the flare will be held onto the car. We're going to start a little bit small, work our way up. I believe this is a 1/4 inch, and it's a little bit smaller than the rivet. So put this in. If the rivet doesn't fit, we'll go size up, and then we should be good. Final size we used was, I believe, 3/8 of an inch. And with that, you see this little rivet, a little bit of force, and it pushes right in nice and flush. So what I'm going to do is just clean up the outsides of the holes, and then we can squeeze this guy in there and tighten the flare to it. Alright, first one's on. I think, yeah, that's actually really good. I kind of changed it up how I put them on. I'll show you guys. So it's kind of what the rivet thing looks like. I ended up putting this whole nut side of it on the back side and then threading it in. That way there's no gap behind where it threads in. And yeah, I think it's pretty good. Once we get that double-sided tape on there, or if I do like flare trim, whatever I end up using, that'll get tucked up right up nice against the body, and there'll be no gap. So, and especially once I vinyl wrap it as well, the thickness of the wrap will almost even take up that little bit. So I'm happy with it. I think it came out really, really good. So what I'm gonna do now, just kind of clean up everything up, throw the wheel back on, and we'll move to the back. Just think, guys, when the fitment's right, this thing tucks up right up against the edge of this flare. It's gonna be sick. But for now, we're a little off. Get her fixed. So we got all sorts of room up in there. Not sure what I'm gonna do here. It's still a little close, but we might be all right. I might trim like this. I think that'd look good. Yeah, I think that'd look pretty good. If you look at it from afar, yeah, I'll just clip that. We'll be all right. So yeah, once we get the spacers on, we'll take a little bit of camber out of it. It's kind of got a lot of negative camber in it right now. So once we pull that out, I think, yeah, it's gonna look sick. We can drop the car quite a ways. I mean, I can fit a whole fist up in there almost. So probably a 1-inch spacer. We should be all right. I'd line it up nice. So do 1 inch for the front. I don't know what we're gonna do for the back yet. We'll get there when we get there, but I'm gonna back this out, get the back wheel exposed, and we'll start. And before I move any further, if you're asking if I'm gonna put sealant on it, yes, I am. But I didn't want to put sealant on until I get all the cutting done, and I don't know how much more I'm gonna cut until I put the spacers on. So it's gonna be in the garage. It's not like it's gonna get wet and rust, so we'll be all right for now. And yeah, that's why I'm not putting sealant on it. We got the rear flare just kind of self-tapered on there, kind of in the spot that we want it. You can see fitment's pretty good. Got a little bit of a gap right there, so that'll get filled in. We gotta scrape off some old glue, and yeah, these things will fit pretty good. So now we're gonna do the same thing as we did for the front. We'll take it off, take the wheel off, mark out where we gotta cut, and then yeah, get cutting. All right, we got the cut line drawn in the back. I'm gonna start right here, work our way up, and I think I'm gonna take a little bit off the bumper here, just so we have no sharp edges or anything. And essentially all that's there is the bumper mount. So as long as we leave this clip where it is, we'll still be able to click right in, and we'll be good. This part doesn't even really hang in anyways. So yeah, we'll clip this off, clip the end of the hanger mount off, and all of the fender is hollow, so it'll be nice and easy, straightforward cut.
Pinky promise.
Back one's cut. That should be plenty enough. Took like 1.25 inches off, and yeah, you can see where I kind of came back here. I'll clean that up with the polishing wheel, make it look nice. We'll obviously hit all that, get all the metal shards off. But yeah, back's way easier. It's just thicker, so it's a little bit harder to get through. We'll have to seal it up. But yeah, not bad. Let's take the polishing flat disc, clean that up, and we can start drilling holes. All right, car's out there warming up a little bit. Second one's on. Second one was a little bit more difficult because the inner fender liner is metal and it doesn't come out. So that was kind of hard to drill through both of those. That way I could get the rivet on the backside the way that I've been doing it. And I did make a little mistake with the drill bit where it's like really close to the door. It's like really close to the door. But worst case scenario, we can just fill that up if need be at some point in time, and we can fix it. But I think we'll cover it up. It's covered by the flare, and then fill it with some sealant, and then the vinyl wrap will go right over. You can't even tell it's there. So, but yeah, I think it doesn't look bad. I think it looks pretty good, and it's gonna look a lot better once we get the proper stuff to make the fitment right. So, yeah, so I'm just going to turn the car around, back it in the garage, do the other two, and then we'll be done for the day. Alright guys, it is now Sunday, and yeah, we got the car finished up last night. Did the other two off camera just to knock them out, but yeah, I think it came out pretty freaking sick. Obviously we still need the spacers and the tape to go behind to fill up the gaps on the flares, but overall, I think she's pretty sick. Now I know it looks a little wonky being all different colors, but trust when we wrap the car, she's gonna look a whole lot better. Now I did make one mistake. I'll show you for comparison. This side's pretty good. Where this rivet goes into right up next to the door. See how close that is? But this one came out really good, nice and flush with the door. The other side, I did this side first. And obviously I learned from my mistake, but got a little bit close and it did chip the paint a little bit and the drill bit kind of slipped, but it's all right. We'll just fill that up and go on our way. But overall, not too bad. I wasn't gonna show that, but like I said in a lot of other videos, full disclosure, and I want you guys to learn from something. So yeah, don't make that mistake. But overall, I think she's pretty good. I got to clean up a few things, and I might chop the bumpers right there, make it nice and smooth. I know from like up here you can't really tell, and it looks pretty clean, but down there I think we'll cut it up. We'll clean everything up. Like you can see, it's kind of a mess in there. We'll just clean it up, seam seal it all, and we'll be good to go. Now I'm not sure if I mentioned, but this is the sealer I'm going to use. It's just this POR 15 patch stuff. It's just a seam sealer. You can put it on metal, it'll stop the rust, it'll stop the paint from peeling up, and we're gonna use that. And it's also black, so kind of matches with everything underneath the flares. I think I'm gonna wrap up this video right here. I don't know how long it's gonna be. We kind of spent quite a while putting them flares on. It took all day yesterday, and to be quite honest, I took like a 3-hour break between each one just to stay calm and relaxed. By the time I got halfway done, I didn't even want to do it anymore. So I'm glad it came out good. Second side is definitely better than the first, so you just get better with practice. First time I ever did anything like that. So I'll probably seam seal it either today or sometime during the week. I wanted to wait till I get the spacers, but then thinking about it, the fenders are already cut as much as I'm going to cut them, and I don't need to seam seal the bumpers. So if I have to cut the bumpers up a little bit, I can still seam seal the fenders prior. So drop a like if you learned something from this. If you're going to try this out, feel free to drop a comment, ask any questions. I'll answer as much as I can. And yeah, overall, it wasn't really a hard job. Just really got to take your time and be precise. And yeah, I'll have these exact flares linked down in the description box below if you want to pick a set up. I have the spacers on order, so super excited to get those in, see how this thing's going to look all said and done. And then we're probably gonna start the wrap maybe next weekend. We'll see. But until then, I'm gonna do an oil change on the truck real quick today. It's freaking cold out today, like really cold, but it's gotta get done. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace. If you guys are OGs to the channel, you'll remember this guy. Came back all the way from California to come see us, and we saved something for you, buddy.
You saved something for me.
We did. He left something here a few years ago.
No way! Get the fuck out of my face with that. Why do you still have this? How come it hasn't molded?
Because they're plastic.
Dude, that was back in 2020. What the fuck, dude?
And it came bearing gifts.
No way you eat one.
No.
Oh, I bet it's a rock. Oh, don't open it. Oh, no. It's gonna...
Oh, it's actually not bad.
What? Dude, that's disgusting. Brandon, you should fucking take a bite of that.
No.
For the channel.
We saved them for you, not for me.
You can fucking throw them out now.
You left them here. You throw them.
I wanted you guys to have some. You didn't want to fucking eat it?